Hey, it's Alpaca Alex. Today I wanted to just scroll through a couple of animal photos that I've collected in my saved folder on Instagram. I wanted to start off by showing you this photo of a dog who's wishing you happy birthday, because I feel like having at least one birthday wish photo is pretty important to have prepared for whenever you need it. I have a few of these saved actually, but this one is my current favorite, and if it just so happens to be your birthday on the day that you're watching this, then happy birthday. I think it's really easy with Instagram to get lost in a sea of fitness posts and models, ads, lavish vacations, and all the decadence that's being displayed. And while it's fun to admire those posts for their aesthetic value, I'm sure many people can relate to the feelings of inadequacy that sometimes follow. I really like these types of silly animal photoshops, by the way. And I know I'm not the first person to, mention the negative effects of social media, because people have been saying those things for forever. Although I don't want it to seem like I have anything against Instagram, because I use it quite often, as you can see. I'd just like to show you how I personally use social media in a way that brings me joy and feels healthy for me. And that's by looking at these cute and funny animal photos. Currently, my Instagram Discover page is filled with pictures of various animals. I like sharing them with my friends, and I thought I'd take some time to share them with you today. I also really like alpacas, as you might be able to tell just from my channel name. But yeah, sometimes I consider in my head just moving to New Zealand and starting an alpaca farm and dropping everything in my life. It's a fun thought. I also really enjoy pictures of animals with scars, as you might start to notice as I show you more photos. I don't know why, I like scars. I really like this photo, but I do have one bone to pick with it. So these sunglasses are resting way above where the hedgehog's eyes actually are. And so that kind of bothers me, but I still really love this photo. I love this, I don't know what it is. It kind of looks like a banana seat, but whatever it is, I love it. Again, you got the animal with a scarf. I feel like there's this big unspoken rivalry between people who like dogs and people who like cats, but I think there's something to be loved about both pets, and I feel like if I ever labeled myself a dog person or a cat person, it would somehow limit my ability to enjoy all animals in their own way, but I think that's just me. So I really like this photo, even though I have no idea what's going on, and I can't tell if it's real or fake, because on one hand, I'm hoping this is real. If it is real, that'd be pretty awesome, but on the other hand, I don't understand how this giraffe can just hold the weight of another giraffe on their neck. But yeah, I really can't tell if it's photoshopped or not. Either way, it's a great photo. And again, we have, well, I was going to say alpaca, but actually this is a llama, apparently. And I know my channel name is Alpaca Alex, but really I can't tell the difference between alpacas and llamas. I don't know, they look very similar. That's all the photos I have to show you today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, I'm Alpaca Alex, and I'd like you to join me today in some Tetris gameplay. I'm just going to complete one game, because I find that these games can take a fair amount of time to finish. I always known about Tetris, of course. It's a pretty classic arcade game from the 80s, but I've never been the type to go to arcades, and so I've never actually played a game of Tetris until somewhat recently. A friend of mine convinced me to start playing it around a year or two ago, I think. I'm not really much of a gamer, and I don't really know a lot about any kind of games, let alone arcade games, but I decided to give it a try anyways. I remember when I first started playing and I didn't really know what I was doing. Not that I know what I'm doing now, because there's certainly much better Tetris players out there than me. But when I first started playing, for the longest time I didn't know that you could hold pieces and swap them out, which is kind of silly considering the fact that there's a box right in the corner of the screen which says hold that I never thought to question before. I also didn't know that you could get bonus points for clearing out 4 lines at once. I used to just do 1 or 2 lines at a time because I thought that that was the best way to do it. But since these like light turquoise-ish color pieces, like the rectangular pieces, since those pieces are the only way for you to actually clear out 4 lines at once, I usually like to save those in my little hold box. Back then there was a version of this game I remember called Tetris Friends, where, as the name implies, you could play Tetris against other people. So I would play against my friends and sometimes random strangers on there, but they shut that down not too long ago. I'm not sure why, but now I can only play by myself really online, which is still cool. I actually have grown to really like this game now. I like the simplicity of it, and I like when all of my placements of these little colorful shapes just sort of fall in place to form a nice looking wall. In a way, it's kind of satisfying. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like simple games like this really put me into this weird focused state where I'm just thinking about rotating an assortment of shapes and placing them where I think is best. It's almost meditative, I guess, if you can call it that. It's a nice distraction from time to time. You know, I kind of wondered whether being a frequent online Tetris player in this day and age might be kind of uncommon or strange, especially with, you know, ultra immersive story-based games. I think The Last of Us is like the current new trendy game that people are playing, and with like VR games, first-person shooters, Tetris just seems so blatantly two-dimensional in contrast. But I decided to look up Tetris on YouTube, and it turns out that there's actually something called the Tetris World Championship, and there are people who who call themselves Tetris Masters. And their videos of some, I guess you could say, pretty dedicated Tetris players who go head to head in this game. And I think that's pretty cool that people are still appreciating this classic. I feel like it's always really easy to start panicking in Tetris when everything's moving so fast that your pieces aren't landing always where you intend them to land. But I feel like after I sort of embraced the fact that you can't be a perfectionist in this game, kind of made it easier for me to just sort of deal with the tougher parts. I think another thing I've always wondered is how a lot of gaming YouTubers who play real games, well, more immersive games, have the ability to actually comment while they're playing. And I know a lot of streamers, they'll communicate with their fans while they're in the game. And it's always been so impressive to me. I never understood how they could multitask like that. I'm just playing, Tetris, which is one of the most basic games. And it's hard enough for me to just speak and to think and play at the same time. So, yeah, I've always been really impressed by people who could just do that. I wonder if it's something that is just acquired through practice, or maybe it's just something that some people are better at. It's always really satisfying to come back from a pretty messy part of the game and then rebuild that nice solid wall. And get a Tetris. I didn't know that that's another thing I didn't know going into this game. I didn't know that when you cleared out 4 lines at once, that was called a Tetris. So that's kind of interesting, I guess. I feel like at some point, once it gets into, like, the score gets into more like the 200,000s, I'm more just focused on trying to clear lines and less focused on actually trying to get a Tetris. 'Cause I just can't think fast enough to keep up with this. But I like watching other people on YouTube playing Tetris. I feel like it's always really fun to watch other people. Some people are actually really, really good at this. Like in those world championships, the Tetris World Championships, I wonder if they actually like have a training time. I wonder if they train for it like Olympic athletes do, like if they have a training schedule for Tetris playing to prepare for the Tetris World Championships. Kind of interesting, right, to think that, you know, somewhere out there might be a guy who's putting in his hours, or a girl putting in the hours, practicing, perfecting their Tetris techniques. That's the end of the video. Thanks for sticking around. Hey, I'm Alpaca Alex, and welcome to my penguin isle. I just felt like giving you a tour, showing you my penguins, and over-explaining this really simple mobile game. Let's get started with a tour of the fishing area. First, I'm gonna get rid of this crate here. And turn the volume up. Okay. So we got this little fisher over here. I named him Benjamin. He just looks like a Benjamin. And I think his hat is super fly. So sometimes penguins are gonna run over here and they're gonna grab a fish from Benjamin's pile of fish. Oh, this chinstrap penguin is over here doing it. And they run off and they have a fish. Another cool thing, a fun thing to do, is to run over here, the flower garden. And got my gardener penguin. And then penguins will pick a flower and they'll end up finding a place to plant it. I'm going to follow this guy and see where he plants his flower. And the penguins like doing this too. Cool. And then over here, to the left here, we have the gravelly field. I believe that's what they called it. And here in the gravel field, we got Herbert the miner. And he just hits the rocks all day. So yeah, he just does that. It looks like he's having lots of fun. And then occasionally a penguin will run on over, pick out a rock, and then place it somewhere. I think this is a Gen 2 penguin. Let's see where he places the rock. Nice. Oh, okay, so, sorry. I'm gonna take a photo of you later, alright? Okay, so then I wanted to introduce you to my favorite part of the isle, which is this little hot spring where penguins like to come and they just kind of swim, they chill, they have a good time. And the caretaker for the hot spring, her name is Barb. She likes to fan herself, but she also really likes to sweep. You'll see her aggressively running around the hot spring just to sweep. Like, she seriously goes ham. Look at her. She's running like crazy, like a madman. Yeah, and she just sweeps all day. She's cool. I like Barb. Alright, and the next area I want to show you is this Antarctic base where we have Shackleton, the Antarctic explorer. He doesn't do a lot of exploring though, he just chops wood. And the penguins like to gather around this little fire and warm up. I think we got 1 Adelie and 2 chin straps. I don't know, I think there's actually 2 Adelies now. Yeah, and they just like to stay warm. And then over here we got Lloyd the bird trainer. And he just runs up and down his tower. He's cool. I like his little blue scarf. And so penguins come over here, and this is the seagull's nest. And they climb up and they just go sightseeing. They just want to take a look at some seagulls. I believe we got a chin strap over here and a Gen 2 penguin. Oh, and my polar bear is just sort of running around. And finally over here, we have, I mean, it's called an amusement park, but I don't know if this could necessarily be classified as that. But penguins like to come here and go down the slide. And they usually swim around the outside of the perimeter. You can see him under the water there. And they'll usually come up around where the fisher is. There he goes. Yeah, and so back to this amusement park area, we got a little balloon dude. I call him Mike. He looks like a Mike. Yeah, he's pretty cool. Anyways, I want to show you one of my favorite parts of this game, which is this photography thing where you can take a photo of your penguins. Oh my goodness, I caught him midair, didn't I? But yeah, you can take a photo of your penguins. Sometimes they'll ask you to take a photo. Sure, let's just have a picture of him midair. And they'll pay you some coins to do that. So yeah, I think the photo challenges are really cool. I have lots of photos of my penguins. And then I kind of want to mention this like egg icon over here. And this is just me wanting to over-explain everything in this game. But yeah, it's the same egg icon as the one at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen here. And this is where I can buy more penguins to add to the island. So far I've only unlocked the Adelie, Gen 2 Chinstrap, and Macaroni penguins. But you can also unlock a bunch of creatures, and you're not actually able to buy these. You kind of have to win them by opening up chests from the shop. And there will be more on that later. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. So far I have like the polar bear, I have the walrus, and the Arctic hare, and reindeer, and a couple other creatures. And down here, you'll see this little tab here, it says see more. This is where I do my island upgrades, so like upgrading each of the different habitats. I'm actually going to quickly upgrade the amusement park. And then there's another tab called Research where I can use these lightning bolts to buy upgrades. And, sure. I'm gonna get this one. Yeah. And so, basically, up here. Oh, actually, I forgot to mention the workshop, didn't I? Okay, so over here, we got a workshop where I named him Hans because I named this penguin Hans because he gives me like esteemed German craftsman vibes. So I felt like that name suited him really well. Right now he's building me something, actually. He's building me a teddy bear. So I'm excited for that to be done. He basically just makes a bunch of decorations, and he uses the materials and recipes that are given to me in this material box here. And penguins just sort of drop things off here. And you'll see down here is a quick sell button. So I can sell some of the items here for tokens if I want to, but I want to keep the materials. And so the quick sell just sells the sea creatures. Okay, nice. Okay, so now I want to move on to this little trophy icon in the top right hand corner of the screen. These are the achievements. They have a lot of different things that you can do. Whenever you complete them, it'll give you 10 gems. And then beside the trophy icon, like the little clipboard, this is where you can get quests, and that's how you earn these little lightning bolts for those research upgrades that I showed you before. So here it says achieve fishing spot level 480. Sure, I can do that. So let's upgrade my fishing spot. Cool. I got a lightning bolt. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to use my lightning bolts to get this upgrade. Alright, and then last but not least, I wanted to talk about the shop, which is the little yellow shopping bag in the top right hand corner with the little pink gem next to it. So this is where you can buy various packages, but you don't actually have to purchase any of those. But I wanted to show you these treasure chests. This is how you unlock those non-penguin creatures for your island. You can watch the ad to get like a free chest, but I'm going to spend 200 of my gems to open the gold chest and see what I can get out of that. So let's see. Ooh, I got an orca penguin. Nice. Ooh, okay. Got a patissier. And I almost got another farmer. Not quite there yet, but cool. So that's that. And then I also wanted to show you down here, I know you can buy gems if you want to, but if you don't want to buy them, you can also get them by just watching the ad over here. I think that like refreshes every hour. And then I'm gonna collect this crate. So these little gift boxes that show up, if you watch the ad, you can get a certain number of hearts. And after watching 6 ads, it'll give you 50 gems. So that's another way to get gems without having to buy them. But anyways, yeah, so that's my little island. Thanks for tagging along.